Hi, welcome to another episode of Game Latte. Today we're going to touch on the Mass Effect 2 downloadable content and how I'm recommending the major ones. I'm not going to talk about the alternate outfits so much because, they're pretty straightforward and there's not that much to say. Also, today I am drinking a hazelnut latte, and what I do, I go to Starbucks sometimes and I buy their syrup there. So this is pretty significant. It's 1 liter, and you can put a liquor stopper at the mouth there, and it basically, if you're familiar with these, or like liquor spout, not stopper, and basically they give 1 shot at a time, so you can count how many shots you want. So this is fantastic. I love them, and it's much cheaper to just buy the syrup and just make your own lattes at home rather than having to go to Starbucks all the time. So it's not really as good as Starbucks, but it gets really, really close, and the more proficient you get at making your own coffee, of course, the better. So there you go. That's what we're drinking today. Now on to the Mass Effect 2 DLCs. And my favorite one out of all of them so far has got to be Lair of the Shadow Broker. And this is one of the ones that I'm going to highly, highly recommend, just because it ties in a lot to the story. And I was never a big fan of Lair, the character, and this is basically all about Lair. And if you found you didn't get a lot of screen time with her in Mass Effect 2, and this is definitely your chance to get that content. This is very much kind of like going through the side quest missions for your companions in Mass Effect 2, to me anyway. And it involves what she's doing, with the Shadow Broker, and kind of unravels some of the mystery if you've been wondering, what's up with all that, and wondering more about the thing with Shepard's body and all that. It doesn't really explain that much more about that specifically, but I found it to be very, very interesting. And more importantly, this DLC is, I think, the most fun. I had an absolute blast playing through it. It just has a lot of action. The cinematics are amazing. Well, at least they're really, really good. So much so that I was like, wow, this is great. That was my my reaction to some of those shots. It was very, very cinematic. I thought, I hope this is the way they're going to do it in Mass Effect 3, because it's going to blow a lot of people's minds. And what I really enjoyed too was the racing mini quest. There's a part where you have to hop into a car, and kind of like those taxi scenes you see in action movies, and it's just so great. And I love the commentary. Lair and Shepard really play off of each other very, very well.
There we go. You're enjoying this.
And that's one thing I really enjoy about this DLC. Is it's one of those rare times that you get to really feel the camaraderie between Shepard and one of their teammates. So, and I felt it was a very personal story, and of course it's meant to be that way, since Lair is one of the most favorite love interests, and I would like it would be nice to think that didn't have an impact, that it wasn't so important to these characters, but if they happen to be very popular with the fan base, they tend to get a little bit more love. And Lair has been, she's a developer and a fan favorite, so of course you're gonna get a lot of quality when it comes to her. So anyway, I thought that was the most enjoyable, fantastic. I highly recommend Lair of the Shadow Broker. It's not really a must-have, in that it's not, even if you don't play through it, you're not gonna miss out a whole much when it comes to the trilogy in question from Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. But you do get a little bit more in-depth things, you do get a little bit more progression. And of course, if you're Lair a fan, then it is a must-have, absolutely. Second one that I enjoyed was Overlord. I think this one was criticized quite a bit, And I didn't really get the hate myself when I started playing through it because I quite enjoyed it. There is a lot of, there's Mako content. Well, not Mako, it's called the Firewalker. No, it's not called the Firewalker. What the heck's it called? Anyways, it's called, the DLC for the vehicle that you get in Mass Effect 2 is called Project Firewalker. Oh, the Hammerhead. There you go. It's called the Hammerhead. That's a vehicle you get. Which I hated at first. I missed the Mako. As bad as the Mako was, I actually handled it better than the Hammerhead. Then I got used to the Hammerhead, and it's kind of cool. I mean, it's not perfect. I think BioWare has a hard time making, vehicle control for some reason. But anyway, so you do have Hammerhead content in there, which was nice to add that in there and just kind of tie everything together so that if you have all the downloadable content, it kind of feels like it all meshes together, and it was kind of supposed to be part of the game to begin with, which is how I think really you should be doing downloadable content, making it feel like it's seamlessly integrated into the game instead of something completely different or completely apart that that is obviously not supposed to be in there. So, and then I know some people think, well, why wasn't it there, at launch and stuff like that? And I'm not going to get into that debate. But I just like to say that I actually, in my point of view, this is a positive. This is a good thing, not a negative thing. And, okay, so Project Overlord I really like this one because it goes into what Cerberus is to me. A lot of people are wondering, is Cerberus really evil or are they just really extreme? Well, Overlord to me kind of nailed the final nail in the coffin kind of thing. It was really, really the last straw. I mean, that was pretty horrific what happens into it. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but if you want to know more about Cerberus, and I'm saying it right today, Cerberus, and I definitely think you should get this one. Again, it's not a must-have in terms of continuity for the story itself. It's not going to add a whole lot. It just adds a little bit more depth and more game hours in that sense. Is it worth the price tag? I think it is because it is a quality product. There was nothing about it to me that screamed, rip-off or too easy content for too much money kind of thing, and it wasn't like Return to Ostagar, for example, for Dragon Age 2, which I enjoyed, but I did feel like it was a little light. A lot of people felt that way. And also Project Firewalker that I just mentioned before with the Hammerhead, I kind of felt that was a little light too for the price. But if you do all of the missions in Project Firewalker, it's kind of worth it. But I didn't like that you don't get to meet the doctor you're looking for. You only get to hear him talk or read about it, and that sucked. I really think they should have been more into that DLC, but whatever. Back to Overlord. Overlord is really interesting. Oh, and one thing about Overlord, I highly, highly recommend that you not beat it at first. Just try to on purpose get yourself killed. Critical mission failure. Just to try it, because there's a nice little hidden thing there, and it's just you'll get a chuckle out of it, I promise. Okay, and the next one will be Arrival. This one is the DLC that I definitely think you should get because it seems to be the canon reason why Shepard is in Mass Effect 3 is in the trial at the beginning. So, I heard rumors, I don't know if this is really true, but if you don't have the Arrival DLC, there's probably another reason why you find yourself in trial in Mass Effect 3. I don't know what that other reason could be, maybe because you've been working with Cerberus for, I think it's about a year. In my head it's a year anyway. And, maybe that would be why. However, I really like the idea of what happens in Arrival. And again, I'm not going to say any spoilers. However, it ties in directly to the Reapers and the Reaper threat and the war with the Reapers. So, it just has so much there. And it does continue from Mass Effect 2 to 3. And they did that on purpose. Now, whether that should have been part of the original game or not, I do think that that's more debatable than the others. Because, it just has such a a huge impact on the story. And the way that played out, I actually really enjoyed that one too. I enjoyed the combat. There was this one part, there's one unbeatable scenario that Shepard has to get knocked out. And I was trying my darndest to, like, I was like, why is this getting so hard? So that was actually a nice thing. In terms of content, I found that Arrival was actually quite decent. And you play by yourself, you don't get to bring other companions, so it's all very, very Shepard-centric, which is actually kind of nice. I don't like it when they force you, or they allow you to bring companions with you, but they never say anything. At least in this case, they're not there at all, so there's no reason for them to be mute. They're not there. So I thought that was a much better way of handling it, and I hope that they do that in the future. If they don't add lines to your companions in certain situations, they don't have them there at all, because I hate that when they're not interacting and they're just not saying anything. And all their companions in this game are very opinionated. They're very highly individualist, and they all have, they're very strong personalities, in other words. So having them just stand back and not say anything is just completely, it doesn't make much sense to me anyway. So I like that, and yeah, the story flows really well, and that's basically what I have to say about that. So Arrival, definitely recommend. I mean, you don't have to get it, but I think you should. Really think you should. The other ones, you don't have to either, but they're a lot of fun. And I'm trying to think if I'm missing a DLC. I think those are really the three major ones. The other ones, Project Firewalker, you really don't have to get it. I mean, you just get extra resources out of it, and a little bit of story, not a whole lot, really. And is there another quest? I think that's about it. I'm surprised I forget one. Bring it up, leave a comment. But I think those are the major ones. Again, Lair the Shadow Broker, the most fun. Definitely the most fun. And the most visually enthralling, in my opinion. So that is it for Game Latte today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will catch you next time. Right now I am playing Fable 3 and Hydrophobia. So look out for those reviews coming up on Game Dames and Game Latte. So see you around next time. Bye.
Whoa, I drank pots and pots and pots and pots of strong black coffee, trying to keep my sleepy soul awake.